Now let's go to this gender row surrounding two boxers at the Paris Olympics. It's not going away. You've got the Algerian boxer, Iman Khalifa, tearfully declaring, I am a female. But Khalifa, along with Taiwan's Lin Yuting, were only last year thrown out of the Women's World Boxing Championship for failing gender eligibility test. And no, it wasn't a testosterone test. They have XY chromosomes, we're told. That's a deal breaker in my book, Prue. That means they are male. Olympic officials have now admitted that the pair have disorders of sex development, which is unfortunate for them. But having XY chromosomes means they have an unfair advantage against female competitors. Prue, there are all sorts of Russian conspiracy theories, and some are even blaming Zionists for the Algerian being criticised. The Algerian Olympic and Sports Committee's director told the Sydney Morning Herald the Zionist lobby, they want to break the mind of Iman, but now she's very strong. They don't want a Muslim girl or Arabic girl to go higher in the ranks of female boxing. Prue, what do you make of this? Because I have seen normally sensible people come to some very strange conclusions about this. I have not seen gaslighting like this for some time.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, look, even if you didn't accept that having an XY chromosome didn't make them a man, and, you know, I'm with you, it doesn't make sense. People are saying, well, they're intersex, so that's the reason, but they're still women. Well, the fact is that they have more testosterone levels than women, XX women, and consequently that gives them much more powerful, makes them much more powerful. So, you know, let's not just say that the passports are the evidence that they're women. For God's sake, how insulting was that? You know, do some testosterone testing, and maybe that's what's going to have to be mandatory if you're going to have
beyond
lame
testosterone
excuses.
testing.
Well,
I think it's
perhaps
beyond
it is.
testosterone testing. I think because they've got XY chromosomes, there's actual gender tests you can do that establish this, but the IOC refuses to do them. It hasn't done them for some 20 years. Other sporting codes do them. Other sporting codes will ban athletes on that basis, but the IOC has got its own philosophy, and I would suggest it is one that is throwing women under the bus. Both these fighters are in line for medals, Prue. I think that's a travesty. And there are brave women making a protest, including Bulgaria's Svetlana Staneva, who made an X symbol after her loss to Lin Yuting. She refused to speak to reporters, and who can blame her when so many are repeating the IOC's lies and half-truths. But her coach also made a protest, holding a piece of paper with the words, I'm XX, save women's sport. I think that says plenty. And the pressure on these women not to speak out, to sing from the IOC narrative, I think is just so deplorable that you not only are throwing them under the bus by having these XY chromosome fighters in their competition, but then if they speak out, they're attacked for that. Now, before you go, I want to ask you about these riots that are happening across Great Britain and even Northern Ireland, mass protests and unrest, a lot of ill feeling about mass immigration and crime, and there's been a lot of violence, a lot of dreadful scenes. The clashes are primarily between white British groups, you could call them, and Muslim groups in places like Bolton, Middlesbrough, Liverpool, Southport. That's where 3 little girls were fatally stabbed. The protests have even spread to Northern Ireland, where both sides of the Irish-British divide are uniting in opposition. And this is quite incredible scenes to see. This footage is from Belfast. Incredible to see, Prue, Irish and British nationalists on the same side, waving their flags. And on the other side, you've got the left waving rainbow and Antifa flags and Palestinian flags. We are seeing new alliances being formed to fight what is seen as a common enemy. And a lot of this stems from mass immigration and really not having any sort of requirement to assimilate. You've got mass migration without assimilation. And these problems, I would argue, are entirely predictable.
Absolutely, and if we're not careful, we're going to import them as well. Europe has just porous borders. They're just particularly Labor, or left governments are now, look at Carl Steinmeier and what he's saying, alienating the Brits who are there, who are so concerned about their security. It is a huge worry.
Well,
I don't know where it's going to end.
And I think it goes beyond Labor, because we've had the Tories in power in the UK for some time, and they kept arguing that they were going to slash immigration numbers, that they'd go to elections promising tens of thousands, and then I think the last year they had 1 million come in, and also illegal immigration, really, they've done nothing about. So these problems, I think, are only going to grow. Prue McSween, thank you so much for your time.